recording.
Alright everybody, welcome to session 2 of War in the Heavens, a System-Lite creation here that is sort of an analog to Nordic mythology, sort of, not 100%, but we've got our players here, Bo, Tet, Sim, Matihi, and the Dude, and we're going to start a second session of this one. Just to recap, brief one of last session. There was a quest to an old tomb in what is essentially some ghost woods. A orb was grabbed, some abominations were killed, and justice was served. I guess anyone who's curious can definitely check that video out. It's been up for a little while here, a few weeks. We're going to go ahead and jump into the introduction for War of the Heavens, which will be bog standard for the rest of the sessions we play on this. So I'll be showing this to everybody. Welcome to this System-Lite game of War in the Heavens, a Nordic fantasy setting based around gods and their followers. In this game there will be epic quests, heroic conquest, and horrific tragedies. Death is a real possibility, as this land is a dangerous place. Know that I intend for things to be difficult but not insurmountable, and be assured your death, if it comes, will not be without purpose. The setting will force you to make tough decisions, and each decision you make will have consequences. Remember that you have free will. Though you may hear divine guidance, ultimately you must decide your course of action in this world. Never forget that the people, spirits, and gods of this land have long memories. With that, we will move onto our first screen. Jarl Bohan sits in his chair. Advisors and warriors surround him. He has put out a call to arms for his worthy cause, and you have all been driven to it. The Serpent of the East Sea must die. It's been a terror for too long. To provide a little bit of extra for that, this is Jarl Bohan. He is the Jarl of what is called Freya's Hold. It is on the very eastern end of the westernmost island in the setting. That being Fimar, the island is Fimar, and he's more or less one of the major powers as far as his reach goes, and as far as controlling the seas and things like that. The eastern island is a bit more fractious with the jarls that are on it, so he's sort of looked at as one of the dominant naval powers in the region. And the Serpent of the East Sea has been creating a huge mess. The legend is that, or the rumors are, it's just this massive sea beast, the likes of which has not been seen in ages, that has just been terrorizing trade routes, transport ships, everything, just wiping them out. No survivors most of the time. Put out a call to all heroes worthy of the cause. He's sent several groups to deal with it already. None of them have returned. You are part of a newer wave, and he's sort of picked out your group based on tales he's heard or just taking stock of you, and he's deliberating with his advisors at this point to see what they can come up with. You're just kind of on the outskirts of the situation. Now is the time to RP or introduce yourselves. Go for it. Don't all jump up at once.
Who would like to go first? Because I'm not in the scene, I don't think.
Sylvi is on top of her Pegasus, saddleless, and clip-clopping along the streets next to Gris, who she's traveled here from her mother's halls after a great feast and separating from Hrothgar for one reason or another. She looks down at Gris and she says, "Are you ready for another adventure, my friend?"
If they all lead to the hall, I am always down for the adventure.
If one would prove true in combat, live or die, yes, it always ends up in the hall, unless you, well, do not follow the gods' tales of strength. and do not do what you can to be a hero. And she kind of smiles.
Heroes, you say?
Yes. Perhaps.
Let's see if we can get our names mentioned for the auditonities.
We shall see. A serpent. It would look nice with my spear through it, undoubtedly. And she kind of pets the back of Windrider's head as she kind of gallops forward a bit.
I'm sure your Pegasus, is that what they're called, would be of some use in this. Either way, I'm sure it's better looking than the last thing we saw. The abomination.
That would not take much indeed.
Well, let's go see what heroes may journey with us in this.
Yes, let us find the Jarl.
As you're kind of galloping around, your horse whinnies a bit at the sight of a couple of other particular souls here.
Mm-hmm. She kind of looks over at the wolfkin. Is there a stigma of wolfkin, or how is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just to give a kind of a brief thing on wolfkin. Wolfkin are sort of a subset of mankind. There was an affliction that was created called the Ulfdre, which a lot of people try to coincide with the birth of the god Ulf. It's called the wolf's blood. What happens with these people is no one's sure how exactly it comes about. Some are just kind of chosen, it seems, by the gods, as most people try to put it. But they tend to forge, they tend to come about in more chaotic areas, lots of war, death, strange creatures. They have incredible strength and speed, but they look the way they do. They look like, bipedal wolves, as you can see there. There are different levels of control. It's pretty much the epitome of a few bad apples spoil the bunch. A few have gone insane, given into primal urges, and it's just made a horrible name for the entire subset. So most of the time they're shunned. In some parts of this world, they're actually hunted down and killed just as animals. They're not even considered sentient beings. So although they can speak and reason and logic, but it's just people believe that they're sort of on a timeline that all wolfkin go bad at some point.
Sylvie kind of canters the horse a bit as she sees the wolfkin and looks over at Gris, and she says, "You were saying about something not as hideous as what we had run into before."
It seems like somebody's wild dog has slipped their leash.
Khronus will just kind of give out a small chuckle. Yes, off our leashes.
That kind of looks over at the newcomers a little bit. She's very skittish. She's got kind of patchy fur here and there, and occasionally she just kind of her neck kind of twitches and she kind of itches her neck in irritation. She kind of like looks over at the new people. Who are these people?
Sylvie looks at the wolfkin and simply says, "I am Sylvie, daughter of Turid. This is Gris, Bjornsson, son of someone that I do not know."
That makes both of us. Unless you count Bjorn. Then in that case, I'm his son.
A son to someone or something, perhaps. And you can kind of see Khronus is... He's almost sort of tempering an anger or primal rage. But you can see that rage probably has gotten the best of him every once in a while. If you look him over pretty well, he's got quite a few scars. I think maybe half an ear. He's been in a few scraps.
This one looks battle tested.
Perhaps he will do well then.
Khronus kind of flashes a very toothy grin. Perhaps.
And hopefully you fight as strong as ugly you look.
Sylvi kind of gives Gris a look and he's like, Now, do not throw stones in glass houses, I hear. That is the term. She kind of chuckles. Not that there is glass probably in the setting, but...
Oh, you drank from glass before.
Oh, that's
I don't know
true.
if that guy built a house up.
Yeah.
He's gotten us in trouble.
Sylvi looks to the other wolfkin that's being more quiet and nods in her direction down from her Pegasus. And you? Who are you? What shall I call you?
Ma'at is this one's name. She kind of twitches and itches her neck again.
Matt.
Ma'at.
Ma'at. I see. She kind of looks over at Gris again and kind of is leaning slightly forward on her Pegasus and nods. Well, I suppose this place is safe for the wolfkin. I've not heard otherwise, not that I would know.
Yeah, Khronus and Ma'at have been given pretty wide berth by most people here. You get a few stares every now and then, but the Jarl's been decent enough in what little he said to you. So as you're all kind of conversing, the Jarl comes out and he's got a great flowing robe over armor of mainly his robe is made of furs and armor much the same. That's up to you, Tip.
Okay.
But he comes out and he's got a couple men with him and whoa. Where'd the Wolf King go?
I don't know.
Get out here. Alright. He comes out. I see you all assembled. Come, gather around. Gesturing towards you.
Ma'at will hesitantly approach, mostly sticking by Khronus.
Sylvi kind of turns her horse towards Jarl. The Pegasus's wings kind of flapping briefly as it kind of takes off the ground and turns as it does so.
All right. I have spoken with the wise men and the foolish men, and here is what we have come up with. Poring over the wounds and stories of the many places that come around this land, we have discovered 3 things that might help us fell this sea creature. First, in the mountains of Dorfir to the south, very close by, there's an old Dorfir ruin that's been untouched for many centuries. One of my soothsayers says of the runes that he once read of the place. There is a story of the Dorfir and their expeditions to the bottom of the seas. It sounds hogwash to me, but they made a weapon to combat great creatures that existed back when they were at the height of their power. You will need this weapon from this tomb. It is said to be there. A bowl of gold deep within the mines. This I would recommend first, as it is the closest and can quickly be brought back by a few of my warriors who are willing to come with you. The second, we need the wood from the World Tree in the Brightwood to the south. It will be used to forge a mighty boat that might suffice against this creature. That Brightwood is inhabited by the elves, and my men will not travel with you for good reason. Lastly, Gveltir the Cripple, the great demigod of old, exists in his mountain range to the far north. And then you go to his estate, and he sort of looks a bit sarcastic with that remark, and retrieve him from his exile, that he might provide you with his guidance to build this great boat, one that he was famous for maintaining back in his heyday. Ask your questions, and I will answer them.
Sylvie looks at Gris, and then briefly the two wolfkin. I see. And then what after all these 3 tasks have been performed?
Gveltir built a great boat in his youth before he upset the gods. We will build this boat again, and we'll use it to destroy this beast, to travel east, the sea of the east, and destroy this serpent.
Seems like a foremost challenge.
These 3 tasks I impose upon you, they are not necessary. I will tell you, I do have boats in my harbor. But we have sent boats in my harbor before, and the boats did not return. You may not heed these wishes if you desire, but I certainly recommend you follow these labors if you wish to have any chance of success.
Sylvie kind of shrugs. I need no boat, but perhaps a good weapon. You said it was a bowl of gold? Kind of looks questioningly at him.
It is a bowl made of gold. We are not sure what it contains. Something strange that only the Dorfir know of. Excuse me, Dorfir. I'm screwing that up. I think, yes, Dorfir. Only the Dorfir know of. Strange substance they used to combat the creatures of the deep. It could be slain then. We do not know anything beyond that. And to be completely honest, my soothsayers have had strange visions before that were untrue. We have nothing else to go on. We're at our wits' end to defeat this beast. It is worth investigating at least.
I suppose my path goes with Gris for now. What do you think?
Well, as challenging as it sounds, I believe that there may be something to do with these steps and these labors we must do. It might just make that much different, or it'd be a waste of our time, and we end up just the same. But I'm for going through these labors.
Sylvie kind of turns and looks over her shoulder at the wolfkin and kind of moves her horse aside so they can step forward and speak to the jarl and tell him what they want to do.
Just step forward. I will do this task, if only to help preserve your way of life and your people. I've no need for bows of gold or weapons. I have no need for riches.
Ma'at will step kind of behind Khronus, obviously like very nervous just to speak in general. Ma'at agrees. She will follow these people and come with to enter these labors as well.
Good. Then it's settled. Provide them with the maps. What maps we have. Provide you with some very poorly drawn but mostly functional maps that appear to have been made rather quickly with some charcoal and some parchment that they found around.
Sylvie reaches down and takes it and looks it over, and then actually puts it into a fold in her cape.
Very well. If there is nothing else from any of you, be off and achieve conquest. Here. No, I suppose you might want men to carry that Dorfir bowl back. Snaps his fingers and a couple of these guys come forward. A couple of volunteers. There. Return victorious. Do not return. Turns to head back into his longhouse.
Sylvie gives the Jarl a kind of sidelong glance and then just kind of chuckles.
Did he just give us babysitters?
I have died and been reborn. There is nothing I fear. Come, Gris.
The journey to the end, I'm sure. That'd be a great one. Let's do this.
As Khronus is sniffing the nearest warrior, he kind of backsteps away. What do you want?
Just... if I can remember your scent, you shouldn't be able to get lost.
Kind of narrows his eyes at you. You're a strange creature. Do not travel closer to me than you need.
As you wish.
Sylvie looks at the Norsican warrior and kind of like looks down at him kind of with a bit of disdain and says, "Perhaps you will need his aid in the days to come. I would not push such a creature away. If he wanted you dead, you would be dead. There is nothing to change that fact. Steel yourself."
Bah. I will seek no aid from this creature. I'm here to provide aid for the rest of you.
Aid to us.
Come, I might need someone to wipe my butt later. Yeah, that's how you get aid me.
a bit red-faced. I'm a great warrior of this tribe. I've slain many men in combat. Your cheers do not impress me. If you want, son.
Windrider's wings just flap out in the guy's face, and she just like takes off like directly at him, and then immediately just cuts straight up into the air, and then hovers like 40, 50 feet above, looking down.
Yeah, to your surprise, he does not shrink away. He kind of he does not move. He blinks a bit from the air, but he stands very firm.
We'll see how firm you are when you need the serpent, huh?
will indeed. Shall we be off then?
Yes, we shall. Wolfkin, are you coming with us, right?
We have
will be
names.
fast at your heels. Pay no mind to them.
Cutting in and out a bit, dude.
Pay no mind to their ways. We shall always be looked down upon.
Ma'at knows too much.
Then let's go.
Alright. Jesus.
Damn.
Awfully forward there.
Put that tail back between your legs.
Please. Okay, let's see what we got. Here we are. The Dorfir once called this range home. Dorfir, what am I doing? I not know my own lore. Dorfir. Dorfir once called this range home. Freya's hold is so near to it, living in the shadows of the most advanced race that ever walked Norisica. And again, just to clarify, this whole section of islands is referred to as Kevalderhofen from some people, and then by other people it's Norisica, because that was the original name. So if anyone wants to ever refer to it either way, you're welcome to. I'm assuming Norisica is going to be the chosen.
I would say so.
Could it default in?
Gavitibadver.
But yeah, so
Swedish
just to
chef.
clarify, it's interchangeable. Some people who use it for a reason, though, so keep that in mind. But yes, though the place looks decrepit, ancient dangers still lurk, and there are rumors that new residents have taken control of the ruins. So you're sort of approaching about halfway up at this point. It's rather cold, but you are from this land. It's nothing you can't handle. But you do see a strange blue glow that sort of symbolizes the directions and the things you were looking for when you're trying to find the ruins themselves. Along the road, a decent distance ahead, but not without sight, you do see a rather short and stumpy individual.
Is that a child?
The child we doing up here?
Sylvia's well in the air, kind of circling, waiting for you guys to make your way.
Bo, you can describe whatever Mim's doing at this point. Uh-oh.
Bobo.
Where's my bow?
Say it ain't so, Bo.
Oh no! Bo!
What has happened?
Oh.
Okay, and we'll continue.
Sona's baby woke up or something.
You guys can RP a bit here. I don't see
No,
anything.
no, he says
He
Mike.
says
He says Mike.
Mike.
Something else with Mike.
You guys can RP maybe prior to this, talking along the road. If you
So Sylvie would be interested in Ma'at, and she kind of like, and Khronus as well. And she, on the way here, she is sure to ride on the ground and not fly, and kind of exclude herself from everyone. And she asks, "Do you believe you would join the Hall of the Gods once you have passed in glorious victory? When you feel the sting of steel upon your neck or throat?"
Mim is back.
this. We'll put out this
Is-
RP and then go.
Is that a threat?
Of course not. It is a question. When you die, and we all will, or have, when you join the halls of the gods, do you believe you will go to the halls of the gods? Will the gods accept you? Will they embrace you? Will you return to your former skin and flesh? Or will you be what you are now forever? Is that what you want? I am curious only.
Ma'at does not think about such things. Ma'at lives mostly in presence instead of thinking of death, as Ma'at has been too close too many times. She kind of, she seems more skittish of the horse and of Sylvie herself, and kind of definitely keeps a distance.
When you look at Sylvie, she kind of, I don't know if you want to make an intellect roll for her ghost. I'm kind of like playing up the whole Valkyrie thing. Her skin seems almost translucent. Very, very kind of strange, almost ethereal. And she says, "Oh, very close to death, yes. And she kind of looks sidelong and says, "You should consider such things, for we are all only moments away from our end." And she looks at Khronus to see if he has anything to add.
I wish to be rid of this life, to be perfectly blunt. It has brought nothing but pain.
Your life as a wolfkin, or your life before, or both?
I don't remember the life before. All I remember is persecution, being hunted. And now I only feel pain and sorrow. And also, I feel pity for those who look to me and see only a beast.
That remains to be seen, I think. But, of course, you show some forethought in your future and your past. Not all men are so fortunate, and she kind of gives the Norsican warrior that had give Khronus a little bit of trouble earlier a dirty look. And then looks ahead and sees Mim, and then takes to the sky to see what that is up there.
So Sylvie's view is probably different from the rest of the party. But the rest of the party, as they look up the trail that's winding back and forth across the snowy mountain, maybe 100 yards ahead, they see a stooped figure going from snowbank to snowbank and crawling up crags of rocks and coming down and sliding. And then the figure kind of looks up, and you can see beady little eyes like little snowflakes, and it dashes to the side and disappears into a snowbank. And then shortly behind that small figure, there's a big lumbering figure. Takes a few steps, and this thing just dumbly looks up at you and just stares almost lifelessly. And then the tiny figure dashes out and like grabs its hand and leads it behind the snowdrift, and it goes away. Now Sylvie from up high probably sees this all from the top down view.
She's just circling but not saying anything, letting the others kind of move forward as they will.
And there's a camera that kind of zooms down to Mim, and he says, "What are you doing, Albrecht? You're going to get us noticed. It's been far too long since we've talked to their kind. And now, well, it's not long enough. Nay, we are loners, we stay alone. And if we find the treasure, that which we seek, it will be ours and ours alone, my son." And the thing just kind of looks at him and doesn't say anything. It seems to blink with these lifeless eyes.
Should we help the child?
We have something. And Gris will stare up at Sylvi and kind of see what if she's gonna point out anything or anything like that. While he's walking.
Sylvie just kind of points her spear down in the general location of where she last saw Mim. He's kind of went in a space where she can't see perfectly without getting any lower. She's probably 40 or 50 meters above. So
about how far away from the party is Mim?
I'd say about 100 yards or so.
Yeah.
100 yards.
Mhm.
What direction is the wind blowing?
Ooh,
How
interesting.
good does the child smell?
Let's just use our cardinal directions at north, south, west, and east. 1d4. We'll find out. It's blowing up towards them.
Okay,
not
so
smelling.
no.
So he says she's pointing over there. That's where she must have last seen what we saw. I think we should go check it out.
Yes. Let's hurry. He might be freezing.
Just to make things easier, I want to do just a check to see how well this big lifeless thing can hide, because that's going to be the most notable.
Yeah.
Noticeable. So here we go.
That's a good roll.
He's hiding.
Really.
That's critical success, right?
Yeah, we'll call it. He rolled a 6 on a d6. Yeah, he's hiding pretty good, actually.
Let me see what Mim's doing. This will probably be pretty good, actually, too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call that a 6. Yeah, you're both hiding pretty good. They're gonna have to actively look for you to find him.
So up ahead, like the camera zooms down, and Mim and the giant golem kind of looking thing kind of press themselves into a snowdrift, trying to stay still as stone, and hopefully that the wandering, blundering fools will walk by and leave him to his own affairs, as he's done so many years.
Us wandering, blundering fools will head towards the direction that Sylvi pointed to. I don't know if I'll see him or not.
Well, if anybody's trying to actively look for this little guy, you're gonna have to roll intelligence. And you're gonna have to beat the 13.
I excel at intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm scanning
Sylvie
the.
should probably see him. But
Close.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I can't for whatever reason. Here, like
Yeah,
behind a
you pick-
underneath a bluff or
mhm.
something where I can't.
So, do we just roll the number of d6 equal to whatever our stat is?
Yeah, you should have a skill check.
A skill check.
Mm-hmm. And it should be
Clicked it.
tied.
It doesn't work.
What?
Man, mine was a solid roll too. Dang.
Bunch of dummies.
I'm smarter than your average wolf.
Trying to figure out why Matt's isn't.
I could just roll whatever the number of d6 is.
Alright, is there anything
It should
popping
be
up?
plugged
Error?
in.
Yeah, it's just error.
Are you?
You want to give me control over token real quick?
Let me see if that's the issue, because it shouldn't be. Edited and controlled. Stats are tied. Let me try it on my end. That's weird.
Yeah.
Can you click off your token and re-click on it and try?
Are you set as yourself in this one? As far as like speaking, maybe that has something to do with it.
I'll try.
It shouldn't, but
Oh, it totally does. What?
Try rolling it now. Hey.
And it's a good roll. Very good roll.
We'll take yours for funsies. So yeah, you how would you find him? Go ahead and describe it to us.
So, Ma'at seems kind of gung-ho about this whole finding this child and kind of takes the lead. She kind of walks, she's more hunched over, and anytime there's kind of an uphill, she likes to walk on all fours instead of just walking on her 2 feet. She's definitely more feral than anything. And her head's kind of on a swivel, like looking for this apparent child and his companion, and kind of passes by the snowbank and sees the large creature out of the corner of her eye and kind of spins around. Child, it is okay. Matt is here.
And Mim just kind of whispers to the thing on his left side. Albrecht, don't say a word. Maybe they still haven't seen us.
Where do you see this child?
Matt will look back over to Gris. It is over here. And Matt will start to slowly approach the child with kind of her paws up. It is okay. Matt will not hurt you. Are you okay, small child?
And Mim looks up at the construct, and the construct looks down at him, and he sees 2 glowing eyes just blink once and twice. And Mim kind of comes out of the snowbank, and there's snow on his beard and over his bald head, and he gives it a shakes it off. Oh, it seems we've been found, Albrecht. It seems we've been found by one of the furred ones, no less. And he gives kind of a chuckle. He goes, and I am no child, my furred friend. Indeed, I'm old. Older than these hills, I deem.
You are a small human.
Yes, a small human. That's exactly what I am. He laughs. He gives a laugh.
Hello, small human. This one is Ma'at.
Hello, this one. What brings you to these mountains? Haven't you heard the rumors? They are haunted these days. The dwellers in these caves, well, they do not wish well on all comers, for they guard precious things. They guard stone, jewels, gold, and ancient secrets.
We are after these precious things to defeat large water snake.
Ooh, not a coy one, are you? Running your mouth and spilling your secrets already. You should know, furred one, that secrets have power. They have great power.
Well, to give you heads up, small human, there are more of us.
Heads up. Mim's head is always down, down, down towards the ground, but I suppose you do not travel alone, for only a fool would travel these paths, all by oneself, to brave the snow and the freezing rain and the sleet and the wind and the thunder and lightning.
I
Come.
don't like snow.
And then Mim calls everybody forth like he's the one that's found you. Come out, travelers, show yourselves.
Matt will wave everyone kind of to come over.
This is Norboy.
And Sylvie is just continually like circling above and kind of sees everybody converge on one area and kind of lowers down, and the Pegasus like whinnies as it kind of hits the ground and flaps its wings widely, and she looks down at Mim and kind of looks at him very curiously, like as she's surprised.
Mim kind of gets sprayed by this swirling snow that's kicked up by the great beating wings of the Pegasus. And he sees the Valkyrie, and I'm guessing he would know what exactly he's looking at. And then he looks back at, he looks at Ma'at and says, "Oh, glorious ones will you bring with you. Not on some fool's errand, I hope. At least it's something you deem important."
Matt is not sure if the one who sent us on this quest is a fool, but Matt follows.
And Mim looks to each of you present and gives a short bow. His bow is very diminutive and reaches the snow with his ruddy cheeks and nose almost pressed into the ice as he comes back up. "Well then, Mim is at your service, or perhaps you are at mine after all is said and done."
What manner of creature is this?
As Khronus kind of looks to Albrecht.
"This? Albrecht? Oh, he is no creature. He is my son. Can't you see the likeness?"
A very close likeness, I see.
"Indeed. He got all the looks in the family. Of course, they passed me by so many years ago. So many years ago, lost to memory."
Sylvi says, "Old one, let me ask you, what are you doing in this place?"
What are we doing? Mim and Albrecht, we live here, but we travel from time to time. We range far across the field and snow-covered plain. We climb mountain, always in hiding, always seeking what we seek. He pretty much gives a non-answer.
Yeah, and what is it you seek here?
Oh, well, that's for me to know and you to find out, I suppose. I'm not so quick to spill my secrets as your friend there, and he points to Ma'at.
Is it secret?
It is no secret when you have the gods at your tail, pushing you forward and giving you hope. You may come with us if you wish, old one.
Mim indeed has been alone for far too long. I see that now. And perhaps Albrecht here can make a friend or two. And then the construct looks at Ma'at and Khronus and Gris and just goes, "Oh."
Matt will kind of back up a little. Oh.
Khronus just kind of arcs an eyebrow at Mim.
Little man, you speak strange, and you do not speak forthright.
Ghost, I'm guessing Sylvie knows what Mim is.
Could roll an int check to see
Yeah.
if you know.
Oh
for certain.
God, I'm awful at it.
Go for 9, because they're not unknown, but to know anything substantial, you would. Hey, that's
Hey there.
good. Yeah, you'd be familiar. You have an inkling. It seems unlikely.
Yeah, that's all I need.
What you know. But...
That's all I know. That's all I need to know. She says, "This is an old one, I believe. He is to be revered. But do not trust him overly much." And she kind of smiles down at Mim and says, "Come, we should continue on our way if you wish to have your son make some friends. Then you have a long climb and I can join you."
Indeed. Mim is no stranger to long climbs. These short legs have crested many peaks and many hills. And you will find Mim to be trustworthy. For long years have I been here. Longer than any of you, I reckon. And well, I do say that I outlasted all of my enemies. And sadly, most of my friends. Then he looks towards Albrecht and gives a sad face. I said, come, come. Perhaps our paths are joined. If you must know, I seek long-forgotten treasure, an ancestral tomb of my forebears long, long ago. I know the way, at least somewhat. Over these long ages, even stone creeps, even stone changes shape. But these old eyes, well, they have more journeys in them yet. Come, perhaps I can assist you finding the way.
Yes.
And
The god, yeah, she says, the gods provide, and you are here. It is not coincidence.
But the gods, they normally demand a price.
A price we will pay if necessary.
This one reminds me of the one with the glass.
Ha. No, I think not. The one with the glass, he remained home and sent us on our way for his own endeavors, and far from any danger.
This is true. Yeah.
Mim just chuckles as he hears the conversation. He says, come, come. Let's see if you can keep up with these short legs and keep on with that talk of what did you say? That I should be revered. Keep on with that talk of reverence. You will see that it speeds up our path the more times I hear it.
Yes, old one. I will speak of your reverence as we walk.
And I would just continue on the path I was on. I was trying to find the same tomb.
So all of you approach the entrance to what appears to be the tomb. As you're preparing to enter, I assume you see the Noraskins that are with you actually start to just kind of make a nice little camp on their side with some supplies they brought. They look more concerned with that than going in.
Are you planning on staying out here?
As we were bidden, our master told us we had to come to the entrance and bring back whatever you find. Only a fool or a desperate man goes into a Dorfir ruin. I am neither.
I thought you were the greatest warrior of your clan.
Tribe, not clan.
Well, I figured there would be no help. All the talk, no swing.
There's no honor in dying to traps. It's all there are in Dorfir ruins.
There
Traps, dishonor.
is any honor dying in the way of service of the way of heroes, the way of honor, the way of glory. And she looks very, very irritated by somebody speaking on a good way to die, basically.
I don't know if they know who you guys are because
they obviously don't, but she's still.
Yeah, you guys can try if you want them to try to come in. You can try to RP it and maybe make some willpower type rolls to. So right now they look. Just kind of shrugs off your comment, and they're continuing to actually just set up a camp and fire. They don't seem very interested in going in whatsoever.
Yeah, Sylvie just says, "Those that stay behind, very few enter the halls of the gods. When you pass, it will be over. You will be in the ether. Never to feast with the gods, never to feast with your brothers again, those that went forward boldly. This is a choice you must make.
Gris will just look at one of them and be like, well, may you live a long, long life, Norsican warriors.
Make a willpower and TN 12, we'll say. These guys are pretty lame.
Sylvie actually doesn't care that they go in. She would not try to convince them. That's their own thing.
Nah, same thing with Gris. He's just doing the last little funny cutting words to them, you know?
Yeah, I don't care that they stay behind. That's their, to her, that's their, basically, they have not found Jesus moment.
Not their prerogative.
Yeah, well, they hear your words and one of them spits and then starts getting a...
I think Mim would probably try to convince him to come in, if for no other reason that he doesn't want. He's kind of paranoid for hiding for so long, and he doesn't want two people kind of at their rear, at the entrance to this thing. So he doesn't want to leave them behind, if for that reason, not that he wants to make them a hero. So he kind of approaches them as they begin their camping and says, "Warrior, come here. Would you have a word with an old child?"
What do you want, abomination?
Abomination? Oh! I see your thoughts are low as Sylvie's words are high. Perhaps I can convince you otherwise, for who better to escort you into one of these Dorfir tombs than a Dorfir?
Bollocks. The Dorfir are extinct, and he looks a bit confused that you're suggesting you might be one.
Well, perhaps there are old stories, and I'm sure you have seen strange things in these lands. Perhaps I can convince you otherwise. Come here, Albrecht. And he kind of brings the construct over and takes a small pouch of tools from his belt and starts to work on Albrecht. And Albrecht looks like he's covered in stone, but there's many hidden panels and screws and springs and gears within him. And perhaps the technology itself of this thing would be enough to let the warrior know that, well, Mim is perhaps something that he's never seen before and could be trusted.
Aptitude, I like it. I'll lower the difficulty, but for the aptitude 9, because they're seeing a marvel of technology that they have no clue about. Yeah.
Not a good roll, but
enough though. So they look and initially they're just kind of confused when they see you start to take the tools out and the panels move off. And they look at each other. It's the old magics. Do you remember the pipes we saw that one time in the building? There was a Dorfir built. Yes, I remember. And they're looking at each other. He might be one. One of them sort of kicks over the stick they're using to help set like the little tent fold up. Fine. We will go in. If not, do you see the little man work the wonders? Perhaps it will not be so dangerous as one who is used to their halls.
Oh, your words are too kind. But perhaps again I am just a small child who is fond of tinkering.
A child with a beard. And she kind of rolls her eyes at the Norsicans.
Yes, lead the way, bearded child. He's pointing towards them.
And we'll head on in.
Alrighty.
Walk on down the hall.
Alright, let's see if my lighting worked.
It did.
It did.
Hey, for everybody's good. Everybody can only see certain things.
Looks to be working correctly for me.
Affirmative.
massive Norisicans.
Massive Norsicans. They're on
Holy
the roids.
These tunnels are far too small.
These tunnels are fucking small.
Stop it, you're smothering me.
He's not a tumor.
Can't resize that guy there.
Yeah, I got you. Maybe he's supposed to be a giant. There you go. Okay. And we can put him up there with you if you'd like, but and it is tight quarters. But you enter the ruins.
Did I had to leave my Pegasus outside? I'm guessing.
I mean, you could take it in, but it might be a bit impractical.
Windrider wouldn't want to go inside anyway.
Yeah, doubtful. It's very, very dark, cramped.
Yep.
It's like circling the mountain.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or just chilling somewhere.
You go in and the Norisicans tell you to go in first, but they quickly fan out and start looking around. Any Norisican worth their salt hears about how Dorfir ruins are full of treasure, and so they're kind of looking around here and there. And aren't your people supposed to have many treasures? And he's walking forward, and this is the one who's been boasting rather often. Let's see how quick the boy is. Not quick enough. That's pretty piss poor, though. So as he's walking forward from the wall here, a massive bolt, like crossbow bolt, comes flying from a small hole in the wall. This looked normal, and crushes through, cuts him across his hip, and sends him back. Just sort of backsteps, takes a point of damage.
Maybe you should watch where you're going.
So he says, if that only would have hit you in the back, you would have been... Did you not say? No honor in dying to a trap? Will you flee? It's almost like she's egging him on to make a bad decision because she doesn't like him.
He just sort of spits on the ground. It's just a flesh wound. He starts to pull out a couple of bandages that he has in his pack and looking for a poultice.
Yes, we Dorfir are fond of our treasures. But as you found out the hard way, we were also fond of protecting them.
Old one, what should we look for when we are advancing? Do not trip on your kin's protections.
No, we Dorfir are old. And old people. It's not to say that we all were of like mind. Just like any tribe of humans or pack of wolves, there were those of us who thought high thoughts and had aspirations for great things. These were the Dorfir who delved deeply and built great towers and spires and cities of metal and stone. But there were also those of us who squandered our riches or hoarded them deep. And these, well, of these I know very little, even in my own age. But as we travel along, keep your eye out for anything anything unusual. I'll do my best, and if I must, well, I'll even lead the way, or at least Albrecht here will. My son, well, he's quite hardy. And Albrecht kind of starts to trundle forth, and Mim says to him, "Keep your eyes wide, my boy. It's been many long years since we delved so deeply."
Sylvi looks to the Norsicans and says, "Show your worth. Let's see your courage. Perhaps you should scout the way." You have taken but a flesh wound?
And if they're going to want to do that, Albrecht just kind of starts to trundle forward.
I'm bandaging. Give me a moment. And the other one's like, I'll go. And he gets his axe out. This guy hasn't said a whole lot. He sort of looks to where the hole was and sort of tests it a couple times. Empty. Just one shot, perhaps.
Maybe you should inspect it closer. Perhaps stare down.
It's not a good idea. Be careful. Matt will kind of look to the injured Norsican warrior. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Flesh wound. Spare me your pity.
Oh.
You look like it was the greatest pain you felt.
Pain in his heart, I am sure, is much worse.
Harping on that guilt.
The head of the crossbow is razor sharp. Go test it yourself.
Sylvie just looks at him kind of sidelong and just almost shakes her head, but just steps past him. Like somebody who is talking to like a child almost.
Yeah, he's banishing very slowly, by the way.
I know what the gods believe and think, she says as she walks by.
This one's looking forward. Old one, are you familiar with this place?
I don't know. Am I familiar?
You know of it. This may be your first time being here.
I've been in many such places. But even though I am old, this world is older still, and my eyes have not seen all the deep places. But I have been in many tunnels similar to this.
Is there any guidance you might provide? Help us find what we seek?
Besides,
You can come up with whatever.
I don't know what really to say. I kind of roll my intelligence to
Yeah, you can do that.
come up with something. Not sure what you have planned there.
Oof.
Well, like I mentioned, I know many sects of Dorfir, and all of them are similar in some ways at the very least. The upper levels of their abodes, well, they are crisscrossed with tracks and tunnels and ways to go back and forth and crisscross the mountains. But such treasure we seek would never be housed here. It would be more secure, deeper down, deep in the cold, where secrets go to die, never to be uncovered. I say we should head downwards, ever downwards. There we will find what we seek, perhaps, as the old ones say, and then he lowers his voice, where we least want to look.
Ooh. All right.
That's my advice. Okay.
All right. So everybody's heading down south, pretty much here. This way.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ma'at is mostly sticking with Khronus. Kind of, especially like taking a wide berth around Sylvi.
Kronos will kind of try to catch up to Mim a little bit and just ask him,
Old one, in your experience, what kind of dangers lie ahead?
Oh, too many to count, my furred friend. Kronos, they call you, no?
They do indeed. Those that call me by a name.
But in my delvings, I have seen things that crawl, things that creep, things that walk on 2 legs, 4 legs, 6 legs, 8 legs, and one time something on 9 legs with 8 eyes. Ah, ghastly thing. So, if you ask what to expect, he turns to you and kind of points his finger. Expect the unexpected. And expect to be very afraid. For down in the deep, it gets cold and dark. My old eyes sometimes have trouble seeing, although the eyes of a wolf, they say, have certain powers.
Perhaps.
And he comes to a crosswalk or a crossroad, and they say, when all else fails, follow your nose.
and Kronos takes a big whiff.
It stinks.
Alright, so I'm gonna move you guys down. Be afraid of the dark.
I'm afraid. Help me.
Can't say.
Attack the darkness.
It's a bearded child needs help.
Quick question for you, Ghost. Will Kronos have noticed that?
If you wouldn't have, I wouldn't have told you.
Okay.
So you guys proceed further down here. You see what you see. You may proceed. Oh, I gotta get your boy. Hold on a moment. Where is he?
The sun.
He's always wandering off.
My baby. He's in potty training right now.
Boom. There you go.
I made a tutu. Kronos will just kind of fall back as well to about the same area as Sylvie. Sort of just walk in stride with her. Having noticed her eyes upon him.
Alright, and you may move where you can see. I will tell you if you need to stop at any point.
Yeah, Sylvie doesn't act any different, really.
Where our Norsican warriors were our guides, yeah.
Not really. They're just kind of meandering around, looking at things.
Yeah, because they were gonna camp outside anyway.
Yeah, they're not too. They don't seem to be taking a whole lot of initiative. The one who hasn't spoken much has been, sort of moving in stride with Albrecht, but the other one who was wounded is holding his hip and carrying his axe lazily in one hand. Not very interested. Looking at the walls, trying to find treasure and looking for shinies.
Well, old one, which way do we go?
their baby.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
It's answering text from upstairs. I'm sorry, I missed it. I'll tell you if I have to.
Gris asked where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Where we need to go.
Always down. My answer will be the same. So you might as well stop asking.
The old one said to follow your nose.
It all smells like shit down here.
Go to where it smells worse.
So he just says, keep going then. Narsican warriors.
We got 2 doors in here. Hallways, not doors.
And they both head in. Oh, this place could be full of treasure. And they start peeking through there's like little ceramic pots that are around.
Perhaps it's best not to be so greedy.
Why not? They're a mostly extinct race. What use would they have for riches? He's looking through the ceramics.
Well, at the time, lots. And they may be booby trapped.
Mention a booby trap, you kind of, maybe you're right. What is this way? Looks over and
What do you see?
doorway. Pushes on it with his axe.
Is it locked?
He gives it a bit of a boot shove forward and creaks open.
After you, brave warrior.
Bah. He goes in. Looks around. There's a large pit. It's dark.
Is there a way around it?
Aye. If you walk along the corners.
Sylvi's kind of overhearing this and turns to Khronus and Ma'at and says, are your eyes perceptive in the dark? Perhaps you could lead us through this narrow chasm that they speak of. But do take care.
That was a good question. I don't remember, and I don't remember reading it.
We will say, for the purpose of such things, that you will get. I'll tell you what, because
Maybe
it
like
makes
low
sense.
light?
Yeah, what makes sense for any kind of. What would that be to notice something? Let's take a look at our statistics. I would probably say that's intelligence. You're using your wits to determine things. Your senses are part of that. So we'll give you a flat +3 to any int rolls related to seeing in the dark. You do have the woofy eyes, so. Alright, Gris, I would stop right there. Speaking of looking for things, go ahead and roll me an int check 9, Gris.
Oh, Lord.
And Sylvia's like, wait!
Oh, good. You get to see it coming, so you won't be surprised. Actually, everybody in there, with the exception of Albrecht, because he's a construct, will make me one. So that's just Mim and the warrior.
Yeah, Matt's kind of hanging out of the back.
Mim's
She's more watching our flank.
Oh, that's fitting. Okay. So you guys are making your way around this, and Gris and Mim, you both hear a scuttling. And the Norscan warriors in the middle of saying, you want to talk about creatures and whatnot, and he's like talking in the midst of saying so.
Shut
And
up.
then a pair of legs comes grabbing out towards them.
Ah!
Oh, the heavens.
It's gonna take a penalty. That 8 legs gonna get a bonus against him. Oh, he's in trouble.
Oh.
I don't think he can beat that. He
As a-
tried. No.
As Inspector Gadget would say, wowzers.
Oh,
He's
what
not
did
going.
I say, Wolfman? 8 legs. 8 eyes.
Perhaps I shouldn't have asked.
You hear a puncture as teeth bite into this Noriscan warrior, and this 8-leg comes crawling out, massive, as big as like a cow comes out. It's, he's just screaming as it's got him up in the corner, and so that was their surprise. The rest of you are not surprised, so this will go as normal. Where's my good music? Here we are. No, that's good enough. Nope, this is better. Okay, so players go first. You guys know how this goes.
So how close would the bottom and left, well, the bottom one be to me?
They're all moving up pretty much at the same time. This one's on the edge, creeping towards you. He would have got to smash you if you hadn't seen him, but you see him creeping up, getting ready to lunge.
Alright, so I'm just gonna pull the old sword out and attempt to stab downwards towards those, where I'm assuming his eye's gonna be, even though I may not be able to see properly.
Mm-hmm. With lightning speed, as you're about to stab down towards it, it hops along to the other side of the wall and
They are quick.
Mim.
Mim, for his parts, sees it coming up the wall and no! Stay away, foul beast! And he's going to try to kind of step back. He says, "Get him, my boy!" And he wants Albrecht to kind of come forward and take his huge foot and try to just slam down on the creature's head as it scales the wall.
Go for it.
Says reflex.
That's pretty good. You hit him. Roll strength.
He's strong, dude.
He is. Rock hard. Well, Albert smashes one of his legs. It's just sort of bouncing around, and you see this massive spider leg gets pulled from a socket. It's just kind of wrangling under Albert's foot. Khronus.
My boy was always one with few words.
Okay, Khronus will see that this Norsican warrior over here is in danger. He's in trouble, right? He's being pinned.
Oh, yeah, he's getting mauled, right? He's got the spider just clinging on to him with his teeth in his shoulder. He looks very, very not good.
Okay, so he kind of lets a low growl and almost with lightning speed moves on the spider.
Okay.
Or 8-leg. And what is it for an attack?
Reflex.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
All right, I'll take it. Oh,
Nope, he won't take it.
So you're going in with the steel chair. No, you're going with the claws, and the 8-leg sort of. You see one of its many eyes looks at you, and it kind of swings its body unnaturally to maintain a grip on the Norisican, but also evade your strike. It's like slings around while clutching him with one of its legs. And then I Three in the
Why
back.
are you?
Sylvie kind of rushes forward with her spear and kind of over the edge tries to stab the creature. And I guess I get +2 to my reflexes.
1 for Khronus being there. The Northican's kind of grappled right now, so he wouldn't provide.
No, I mean to this is my god thing. +2 bonus to all reflex rolls is what it says.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I didn't do that.
I would have failed mine. I forgot I had a +2 on it as well.
Maybe it would be a +3 then. If you have Khronus.
No, you said it'd be a +2 flat bonus.
Right. Okay.
And then you get a +1 die. So that's an 18, and then whatever your you rolled the extra die already from Khronus being there.
No, I did not.
Roll a d6. Because it's technically a surround, so 19. That's pretty good.
Wow.
That's actually
enough.
no. Then it's more. That's more than a 19. That's a 21, right? Because I get
that's
+2.
good enough.
Yeah, this is 18
Just
plus.
barely. Yeah, you hit him. Roll strength.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Oh wow.
Wowzers.
Woo.
As the creature has the Norsican warrior kind of pinned and grabbed, Sylvie just comes rushing forward with her spear and just like straight through like a spider's like back is kind of like engorged and big right where the stinger is, and just right straight through the top of the back, and all this like just pus and fluid just spurts up into the air as she just drives it through to the ground. And rips her spear out and kind of like slings the thing back into this massive hole and chasm where it falls.
And then it's fun. It's all the way down. You hear it bouncing off walls. And then we've got Ma'at.
Alright, so she kind of hears the commotion, quickly rushes over, brandishing her claws. Kind of ready to attack there. I don't know, am I able to make it over there? Oh, Jesus.
You're
So
fat.
she kind of turns the corner, and she's like, oh, this is not good. But she'll kind of do a running tackle and try and bite spider number 2. So it's
Reflex.
reflexes, alright.
You would get a bonus because Albrecht is also fighting it. So 1 + 1d, which you can just use the luck die to emulate. Just don't expend your luck point.
She should also have the same thing that I do, which is the +2 flat bonus. Because
Yeah, she
she's.
does. So you add +2 to whatever. So 17.
17.
Okay, that's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Roll your strength.
Alright. Oh, I gotta click myself.
I think the flat counts for that as well. So 12. That's enough. He was already hurt. Describe it.
So, basically, she kind of runs on all fours and kind of tackles the spider. And there's a chasm there, so she basically grabs onto it and rips off one of its legs with her teeth and claws off another. And she kind of ends up kicking it into the hole and kind of awkwardly bounces back onto the ground and watches it kind of tumble. Is small child okay?
I'm still drawing breath here. I'm very well. My boy, how are you? He's well too.
So now I believe it's just your comrades. This guy in the back is not much wiggle room to get through. He's trying to look over. He's going for some weapon on his back here, something he can throw. And then this one just these legs. He stands up and takes his axe that was in his hand and flings it at the 8-leg down here. Yeah. Goes flying past and bounces off the wall. Ah, and he's shoulder up against this corner. Oh man, this little spider. I believe it's their turn. His turn now. Would say there, but there's not any left. Let's see. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are really in range. Okay, starting from right to left. Everybody's got the number. Albrecht of all things.
No!
8-leg turns and sees
My boy.
big frightening thing. You see it's kind of like backed up against the corner initially, and it's kind of looking around. Just looking left and right, and then dives towards Albrecht. I know these guys got some fun things they can do. Actually, scratch that. Retcon. It's going to spend a luck point. And you see it posture up. And it is going to shoot a web at Albrecht. See, Albrecht's going to have to make a pretty tough roll here. It's a DC 16 reflex check. So he's going to have to make a reflex.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Hey, that's pretty good.
Ty as good as a defender as we had figured out, right? I think that's what we decided.
Yeah, it does. Well, he just had to meet. It's not a. It's
yeah. I got you.
But so this web was flying across. Describe how Albrecht rather nimbly dodges a flying web.
Albrecht doesn't dodge; he tears it off. So it gets him. It does. So he just finishes smashing his foot down to that thing, and then Ma'at like cuts it and it like falls down, and he kind of lifts its head up very stiffly, and then just the webs splatters all over him, and he just simply goes, just takes it and just shreds it, and it falls down into the chasm.
It's back to you guys, whoever wants to go.
I thought Gris was first.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Alright, so Gris will see the spider hanging out over there in the corner and work his way towards him. I'd be able to get to him, right?
Yeah.
Don't you're human, right? Is Gris human?
I think so.
Yeah, you have like
Possibility.
a bunch of luck that regenerates between each scene, right? Is it between each scene? I thought humans get luck that we go between each scene.
Maybe not that one. Maybe not this particular human.
Oh.
Special boy.
Fucking Christ.
He might be a liar.
Hey, that's not very good.
Not at all. Let the shitty rolls commence for tonight.
So you go in to swing on this 8-leg, and it's just jumping off walls, and you're trying to hit it, but it's just all over the place. It's just clicking its teeth at you, like maybe you think it's snickering at you as it's doing this.
Oh, that's no human. That's a poorly made construct.
Whoever's next.
Khronus can go.
Yep, go ahead.
So Khronus just hits all fours and just sprints off and bounds after him. This 8-leg.
Okay, you get an extra reflex die because Gris is attacking it as well.
Okay, so just roll an extra one on the side.
Yeah, we'll just do a luck die and not expend the luck.
Okay.
And then make sure you're counting your flat bonuses as well. So
Jesus. So 13. Terrible.
good luck. Oh!
Oh, nice.
Okay, strength.
Alrighty, that's not like a roll,
I'll be
but
very
okay.
surprised if you don't kill it. Whoa!
Oof.
Not quite.
But I get 10. That's a 10.
Then you still have to beat it by an additional. You still have to beat it by 6, whatever his roll is, to get another. You rough him up, scratch him up, bite him up, maybe, but he's still. You maybe take a leg off and he's jumping around on the ceiling, back down. Hard to pin down. Whoever wants to go next.
Well,
Sylvie
you guys
actually
go.
kind of like steps back and lets Ma'at or Mim go. She kind of like steps back and just like watches expectantly at Ma'at particularly to see what she'll do.
So
I'll just kind of
Ma'at,
delay mine. Like, I'll just say, like, Albrecht's just trundling over. So let's delay my action.
So Ma'at will kind of take this opportunity, and she kind of sees Sylvie out of the corner of her eye, just kind of watching her. Kind of builds up a little bit of confidence and runs again on all fours towards the remaining spider. And again, tries to jump on it and tear it apart with her teeth.
Reflexes with 2 dice. Because 2 people are doing it as well.
Ooh, 2 dice.
And you're
I don't know if I can enter 2 dice because I only have 1 die.
Yeah, well, you can just roll an extra d6. So that's 14, 16, and then your next d6. Ooh, that's pretty good.
21.
Plus,
See.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So,
I wish that was a
rank
damage
check
roll.
for funsies, but you've killed it. You can describe this one.
All right, so Matt will jump on the spider with enough force to kind of knock it onto its back, and just kind of in a little bit of a frenzy, she'll just start ripping it apart, like just kind of throwing legs left and right until it's just kind of just the body is left and the legs are scattered to and fro.
It screeches the whole time. It's just, at some point the screeches stop and it's just a piece of meat getting thrown around. Gris and Khronus are probably covered in a bit of spider blood and whatever else the spider has inside of it, as Ma'at tears thoroughly into the 8-leg. And that is the end of that.
So how'd it taste?
Tastes like bugs. Don't like.
Sylvie just kind of walks around and looks at Khronus and Ma'at. She doesn't really say anything or make any kind of inclination, just kind of closely watching both of you. You realize very, very obvious, not trying to hide it, not just kind of staring at you.
Khronus just will look back at Sylvie with just dark, with his, I guess just with his dark eyes, and just try to figure out what her intentions are. Kind of having an idea.
Roll me intellect. 12.
Boy. So -1 to that too. So I got a nice solid 2.
You have no idea.
I sure don't. I'm dumber than a bag of rocks. Box even. Okay. Just stare at her.
No Redskins come up in the bag and he's holding your shoulder. Cousin, how wounded? Flesh wound. He's starting to sweat a bit. Walk it off. Not done yet.
And Mim kind of walks over, looks over his wounds. Oh, I almost regret talking you into coming here. You've lost a lot of blood, sir.
Not as much as I'll reave from the next thing that attacks me.
I don't know
Where's
if you
my
can reave
axe?
blood from a creature if you do not fight it. After you were hit, you shrunk back, did you not?
It was in the creature's grasp. It's strong.
Oh, not after I slew it.
See, double. Must have poisoned me or something.
And Khronus will actually walk up behind and maybe we should send them out.
That is their decision. They may come or they may leave.
No. We here, the little one told us we could make it through. I believe it. And there could be treasure. The other one who's been quiet nods.
No good.
So Ma'at will kind of look at everyone, and she seems to be getting a little bit irritated at kind of everyone bugging the poor warrior. You know, if we stopped this infighting, we might be able to progress faster.
Yes. Wise words I've never heard from a furred friend like you. I think we should heed her advice. She is wise as she is fierce. Come. These guards will follow us down into the deeps, for I'm sure we have a ways yet ahead. And Khronus needs to follow his nose.
Khronus sort of puts his nose up to the air.
It stinks most this way.
Gestures on.
The deep is dank and dark, and often things there rot.
Well, then, let's cut the chatter and go.
Sylvi remains near Ma'at. Not walking until she does.
Then we'll head on with the rest of folk.
Ma'at will be standing up a little bit straighter. She seems to have gained a little bit of confidence since murdering the spiders, I guess.
Everyone huddle close. We'll move out as one.
And Ma'at will look over to Sylvi. Why do you try to get them killed? Aren't they more useful alive?
I do not try to get them killed, I try to give them courage. I try to see what they are worth. That is all.
You seem to only demean. You do not seem to give courage.
They act like cowards.
Again, you say that you want to give them courage, but you egg them on to kill themselves. What is the point?
Which way do we go?
I do not wish them death. I do not wish them misfortune. Far from it.
Could
wish-
have fooled me.
I wish them a greater life once they die. If that makes any sense.
As you're having this conversation, so we sort of hear whisperings from behind with the Norisicans. And the one who's been more quiet's talking to the one who's been beat up. Stop antagonizing everyone. I'm tired of hearing about all these heroes and what they do. I've seen nothing so important. They demean us, they belittle us. They think they are gods among men. They are no gods. Quit your belly aching. They have helped us, guided us so far. Pick up your axe and be a man. It's going back and forth a bit.
Is this how all humans are?
Most humans. Sylvie turns and just kind of, as they're kind of walking through the hallway there, just kind of like crosses her arms and waits for them to come as she's just like staring at them.
Just kind of look at each other and sort of brush past.
She doesn't say anything to them.
Alright, and assuming you're going onward, you would know that this would go back the way you came. This would be onward. This is where it stinks most for Khronus.
On this way.
Then let's go. Can't see much that way.
And Sylvie kind of leans into Matt and she says, "Do you see now? Do you see why I push them so?"
Matt concedes.
And I will bring you to the next one. Darkness falls. Oh, where's the stuff? There it is. Bam. Okay. So as you proceed further down, there are a few paths here and there which look to be dead ends, and Mim is able to guide you mostly without any kind of issue. And you come upon this room. This appears to be many crates, things stacked very high.
Odd.
So Mim kind of bends low to the ground and shuffles his way through the crates, looking for anything of value. Oh,
Roll me an
far.
aptitude.
Oh, that's my wheelhouse.
There's a room down here.
That's decent.
Just decent, huh?
Terrible roll.
Mim kind of looks through the crates. He says, "Oh, here we go. A hammer, a wrench, a bucket of bolts. Oh, these things are old and ancient, but we may find some use for them still, or at least I will." And he flips the hammer into the air and boom, catches it with his hand again, and he tucks it into his belt, and he loads the bolts and the wrenches and the other tools into an old pack that he has slung over his back. This is no treasure, but this tells me we are heading in the right direction, I should say. What do you think, Albrecht? My thoughts exactly. He kind of continues.
What do you smell, Khronus?
And Khronus once again puts his nose into the air and takes in some deep whiffs.
I think it stays this way. It's foul.
Looks like this area has been used at some point.
And what you see, Gris and Khronus, in this room is mainly it's like a room of lodging. There's a few tables, and everything seems expertly crafted. There are a few statues. At the far end of the room, there's a statue holding a shiny bowl at its base. And you two that are in there...
Was it that one?
Yep, it is that one.
How much do you want to bet that something happens when we take that bowl?
I would not be surprised. We should be wary.
Norsicans! There's something shiny here. You may want it.
Wow.
Khronus will turn to Bjornsson.
Let's see. Oh,
We
you
do
can
not
put it
send
out
them
there
to their
now.
death.
Okay.
Yeah, they're looking through other stuff. Huh? There's much that is shiny. We'll be down there in a moment. Go ahead, though, Khronus.
I don't think that is wise, Bjornsson. What if they trigger something and it's bad for all of us? Don't wish to destroy the entire party.
Guess that's the boulder we need. We need somebody that's gonna take it.
Perhaps the Tinkerer, the old one.
But did someone say my name?
There's a shiny thing here.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look. See. Shuffles on over.
I think his experience would be most helpful in this particular situation.
Or is this thing we're talking about, right? There.
Let's do it again.
Mim walks over on his stout legs and tries to inspect the contraption. With his sun looming over him.
Wait. So, Matt kind of pauses and gets down on all fours. Matt, here's something.
Hmm?
Be careful. Something's coming.
I trust you, Matt. My ears are old. I couldn't hear a mountain fall atop me if I tried.
Be wary, small boy. Old boy. These are coming.
Quiet for a moment.
Coming from where?
I do not know.
Can we, can Ma'at and I make skill checks for that?
Yeah, you can
Some
make some
checks.
int checks. Actually, everybody in that room can make me one. Target number is gonna be 12. Oh my.
Oh.
Yeah, man, a
Gris
solid
is
5.
ready.
Gris.
Gris is
Solid
ready.
5.
Sylvie's not ready. Mim's ready.
Oh, Albrecht's not going to be ready.
Albrecht, I will say Albrecht's with you. I mean, oh well, maybe not with that one.
He's the one.
Ooh, that's pretty bad. Okay, so everybody who did not roll a 12 is about to get potentially banged on. So
Ooh.
as you're only 2 people notice it right away. It's Gris and Mim. And it's a good thing Mim notices. Because all around you begin to see 8 legs slowly descending from the ceiling quietly. And then, right near the bowl, Mim, as you're approaching, you see what appears to be an 8 leg at first, but unfolds into something macabre and horrific. And you know this creature.
Dro.
Kinda.
I was gonna move so I can see your name. Can't.
Oh, let me see if I can adjust it. There you
It
go.
looks like Samsung. Oh,
Samson Queen. Yeah.
Drizzt.
Wolf.
Samsonite.
Spider
Alright.
Queen, dancing queen, hey, Spider Queen.
Alright, and where's the good stuff? There it is. So it's gonna be Gris and Mim will not be surprised, so they're not targets for attack. But everybody else who failed is. So we'll do the leapers first. Sylvi's the closest.
Give it to me.
Where's give it to him. Where's my leaper?
Give it to
There
him.
he is. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Opposed reflex test, he's spending a luck die, and depending on what happens, we'll see what happens.
I will also use luck die.
Okay. 18.
Oh!
I got 23.
Alright, so what happens is, maybe you catch it at the last moment or something, but this thing leaps off the wall towards you and clatters into the table behind, knocking it over. As it gets smaller for some reason.
She just kind of spins out of the way and like turns to face it as she avoids its leap.
Ma'at. It's time. Opposed reflex test. It's also going to spend a luck die.
I will also spend a luck.
Ooh,
I'm getting hit by this.
that thing rolled fat. Oh,
Ooh.
so perhaps not as quick as you maybe turn hearing the clattering behind you. Oh, let me make it so you can have your token still active, but the spider leaps and pins you to the ground and begins snapping at you. You will be pinned. And what that does, in essence, mechanically, you have to spend a turn to break free, and then any attacks that are made against you get a +1d to reflex on top of any other bonus to surround. So you're in a bad spot.
Uh-oh.
The rest of these, this one on the far right goes after Albrecht. He's closest. And we'll spend a luck die. Actually, that wouldn't even do anything. It's gonna attack him. Albrecht's a construct. Reflex. Ooh.
Yeah, let's see what he's gonna do. 15. He's gonna spend a luck die. And
Mm.
oh,
Tie goes to the defender.
all right. Down to 1 luck. All right. So this thing leaps at Albrecht, and Albrecht, these front 2 legs here, he catches with his hands, and he starts to squeeze and squeeze, and eventually just throws the thing off of him.
It bounced off the wall. Hisses at him. And then Khronus. Khronus is about to take some pain, unfortunately. So 8 leg.
he's in a good position.
8 leg first. And we'll spend a luck die. And that's not for the attack, that's for something else. But oh man.
Spend your hate.
That could
Wow.
be bad. That could be bad.
I better spend my luck.
If you don't know if you can beat it, but we'll see. You might.
No, I don't think I could beat it even with it, actually.
How many dice would you roll?
4.
You'd have to roll 6s on every single one.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna spend it.
Make me a...
Nice.
Good decision. Make me a athletics check. So make me an athletics check first for the damage.
Mm-hmm.
The regular damage.
Okay.
So that's 11. Oh yeah. Okay, now make me another one for something else. You have to beat 12. I would say that beats 12.
Is that gonna do it?
That will do it. So you feel this thing bites into you. You take a wound. This thing bites into you, and you see its fangs as it pulls out, coated with this green, this disgusting fluid that pours out of your wound. You don't feel any different though.
Okay. So it pounces. Whereabouts? On him.
Pounces towards and bites your forearm. You kind of get an arm up.
So okay. So Khronus kind of takes a half a back step and manages to get his arm up in the way. Lets out not necessarily a yelp, but like half of a yelp, and then just growls.
Alright. And now, Khronus, you are going to take the wrath of the queen. So you see this figure before you, Khronus, half the body of a woman, half the body of a spider. She descends and just screeches at you. Pulls up all her legs here to strike at you. Let me see what we got going on here. Let's see the fun. She appears as if she's gonna strike.
Come on, Khronus.
Luck point.
You can do it to Khronus.
And instead of striking at you, Khronus and Sylvi, you're both gonna make me reflex checks.
Me again?
Yeah?
What's that?
Oh, so close.
17.
Just enough.
Mine's actually a 16. Mine's a
Don't
16.
forget those, because I'm not gonna remember them. So shoots. You see her lean back, and it appears she's gonna strike at you, Khronus, and then you see this silk come flying forward, and it sort of splits off towards Sylvi as well. Both of you are quick enough to evade it.
So, yeah, so after Khronus just got bit in the arm by the one 8-leg, he just sort of, as he growls at the one in front of him, he notices out of the corner of his eye and just drops back into more of a defensive posture and is able to duck under the stringy web stuff.
Yeah, Sylvie just kind of sidesteps behind the leaper to obscure the web from hitting her.
Maybe a bit more exciting music for this. So it flies by. Leave my halls. This is a dominion of the 8 legs. She's sort of chittering her legs together. And then be your guys' turn.
Alright, well, they, Leaper 2 messing and landing and skidding to a stop.
Are the warriors just hanging outside?
They're gonna.
Well, if they could see it, they're probably smarter. Like, we're just gonna hang out here, dude.
Yeah, take a look back. They're going through boxes. They've got it.
they're
and they're going.
They've doused these flames out here. They just douse them.
Mim hears her say that, and he's like, "This is not the dominion of the 8 legs. Nay, the dominion of the 8 companions." And he looks to his right and sees the warriors fleeing. 6 companions.
Alright, so with Leaper 2 next to him, missing Sylvie, Gris is gonna take a underhanded swing at it. See if I could go for my no-hitter today.
Not bad, Bjornsson.
Yeah, we'll see.
They are spiders, though.
Yeah, they're quick.
But I'm just going for my no-hitter.
Oh.
Dives over their table. Spits at you. Nothing else, but
Sylvie kind of like maneuvers behind this 8 leg that has Matt like pinned, and tries to just jam her spear straight from the behind through its soft, fleshy stuff.
What?
But there you go.
do it.
23.
Ooh, that would hit. Show me the damage. Hey, that's pretty good. Describe it for me.
As it has Matt kind of pinned to the ground, she just runs it through the back, lifting her spear kind of up into the air, and picks it up off Matt and flings it behind Sylvie against the wall with a splat. It's black blood splattering everywhere against the wall over here.
Just kind of slides down like when a bug hits a windshield.
And Sylvie kind of looks at Matt and says, "Stand and fight, warrior woman."
Matt will jump back up onto her feet and give Sylvie a wide smile. Thank you. And she turns right around and goes for this white spider beside Khronus and dives right into it.
Respectable.
Ugh. So Matt kind of misjudges the strength in her legs for a moment, kind of misses a little and goes off to the side.
Just kind of bounds back, then drops back down. Sort of flicks at you. Next.
I think it's me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do both of them get to go, or just one of them?
Yeah, you can both go. What would be the point if I'm definitely not doing the D&D pet rule here. The pet's gotta act on your turn. You do your thing, he does his. Go for it.
Okay, so strong Bellwasser. Albrecht. Albrecht just goes, and he's going to charge this one and just try to grab the legs again, and not even try to hit him, just try to pick him up and like wrestle him to the ground and hold him there.
Give me a strength. We'll go opposed strength since you're just going all in for this.
Yeah.
You will be easier to hit if this fails, though.
I'm gonna use luck die too.
All right.
I think
say that you definitely got him.
Yep. So he's pinned down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now Albrecht is going to say, "Well done, my boy." And he kind of whips like a hammer, like a smith's hammer from his belt. He comes forward and tries, and there's these snapping mandibles on this thing. And he tries to aim a blow right between the beast's eyes. Brings it up. Ah!
Reflex plus We'll say plus 2 die because technically he is engaging with him and also shrouding. So give yourself 2 additional reflex dice since it's pinned and Albrecht's beating on him.
Alright, I gotta do 2D after this.
I like it. 18.
16.
Pretty
16.
respectable.
16.
No, 16. Yep.
Oh,
How?
Jeez.
So it's he still got it. It's just squirming around everywhere. It's not easy to get a strike down. And
hold still, you pa!
it's just all over the place, swinging the legs and swinging at you, and
The
maybe you're
hammer
trying not to
hits.
get hit.
It's only situations like it keeps hitting the ground everywhere except the thing's head.
Oh shit! I believe we have Khronus.
Yes. Okay, so Khronus did not like web shot at him, I guess, and he will make an attack at the queen.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Go for it.
And I'm going to use my luck as well. Ah, 13.
Oh.
Good lord. I'm rolling terrible. I deserve to die.
If that was the case, Gris would have died last session. So you're going in for the swings. You're trying. She's just unnaturally quick on her 8 legs. Despite her massive size, she is extremely fast.
I haven't hit anything either.
What is the matter, furry one? You cannot catch a bug? And she's like pushing at you and just...
Khronus just growls at her. And
We'll see who gets the last laugh.
And then your friends in the back.
Our boys.
Much to the surprise, perhaps, of Sylvie, they do come charging in, brandishing javelins and throwing axes. This one will try to throw at the 8-leg. Leaper. Yeah.
The peeper.
Javelin sticks in the wall. This other one, throwing axe, trying to fling at the one that Ma'at and Khronus are fighting. We'll use one of its luck die. Holy moly!
Ooh, there you go.
It matters not.
Oh,
Good lord.
these things are too quick.
Clatters off the wall. Ah, how to dodge that strike? Spider Queen. Not a fan of watching one of her children die as she's fighting Khronus. She's backstepping. No! You dare, witch! She leaps. And it's gonna take a swipe at Sylvie.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvie got reflexes for days.
Oh man, we need him with that.
+2. +2.
13.
Yeah, you would have won it anyway.
Yeah.
She takes a swipe at you.
Yeah, Sylvie just kind of spins out of the way and keeps her spear pointed at the Spider Queen. I have the blood of the gods in my vein. You have no chance here today, foul creature.
We shall see how God tastes to my children. Let's see. 8-leg is going to try to break free of Albrecht, since that seems logical to do. It's pretty good.
Strength.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Just sort of gets a couple legs under Albrecht and just pushes him off and pops back up to its feet. Takes a defensive stance with his legs up. Leaper sees Gris, will spend a luck point. Opposed reflex Gris.
Oh, goody.
Ooh. Oh! So close.
Lovely.
It gets ready on the table, and maybe it looks like it's about to strike, but instead throws itself at you. You are being pounced. It is restraining you on the ground, trying to bite into you.
Oh.
And this 8-leg. Let's see. Ma'at. Yep. It's gonna spend a luck die. It's gonna try to bite at you.
Oh, reflex.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
15 still. So roll your athletics for the damage first. Oh god.
Oh man.
I don't think it's gonna do anything.
That's good.
Yeah, you take
Nice.
1 damage, guaranteed for every successful hit. But you take 1. You don't take any more. But roll me another athletics for something else. Need to beat a 12.
6. What the fuck?
Wolfkin are resilient.
Oh.
They're resilient folk. Yeah, so nothing. Again, you see, much like Khronus and saw earlier, you see this thing's fangs are covered in some sort of green substance, and you see it dotting your body as it perhaps scrapes along, but it doesn't seem to, whatever it is, bother you.
Matt will kind of growl at the 8-leg as she's getting damn bugs.
Alright. And I believe that's all of them, so you guys, again.
So how do I get this leaper off me?
You have to spend an action to do so.
Alright, well, the action was a check, or is this an action?
You just do it.
Alright, well, I'm gonna scramble out from underneath this leaper.
Yeah, it's trying to pin you down and trying to push you around. I should probably make it to where you can make a check if you still want to act. But if you fail, then you're just...
Do like an athletics check.
You do strength if you want to do strength. If you want to, if you still want to, so if you don't want to act, we'll say you can just spend your action to devote all your energy to getting free and succeed. Or if you still want to act afterwards, you have to pass a opposed strength test.
Alright, so opposed strength.
Sure.
Hey, I finally get to use my strength for something.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for including me.
Yeah, absolutely. happy to have you here. I would say that you get free and you may proceed as normal now.
Alright, back to my no-hitter. So scrambling free, pushing him off. He's gonna do like a lunging swing at him as he tries to stand on his feet and stand.
God.
Just backs up and sort of swipes at you to keep you away. Man, Gris. Okay. Who's next?
Sylvie just kind of comes under the Spider Queen and tries to, like, uppercut her spear into the creature's belly.
Do it.
15, that's gonna miss.
Yes. She sort of catches wind of what you're doing, very crafty combatant you're fighting here. And she sort of rolls a bit, does a bit of a roll out of the way, but maintains her balance. And is just sort of maintaining this defensive stance, watching your every move very closely, eyes moving very quickly in her head. Who would be next?
I think Ma'at.
Yeah. So, Ma'at will kind of signal to Khronus as she circles around the 8-leg, get on all fours, and takes another bite at it.
Get yourself an additional reflex die because you and Khronus are both engaging it. So you can just roll your luck die without expending a luck. So 14, 16.
16. Come on.
Oh,
Damn.
Oof. Good.
Some bitch.
Jumping around. Too quick. Who's next?
Mim and his boy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tale of a petty dwarf and his boy. All right. They're gonna just go full on this 8-leg.
Okay.
Mim's like, what's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, both of them are just going straight up attack. Mim raises his hammer and says, "This treasure is ours. You came here unbidden, and you will leave in pieces." And him and Albrecht both charge this spider, aiming to hack all of its legs off.
+1 reflex for each of you.
All right. So, first of all, Albrecht. Ooh.
That hits. Oh, Albrecht doesn't. Oh man, Albrecht got him.
Is he goner?
Oh, he's a goner.
All right.
He gone.
Now, I don't think I could change targets, but
Yeah, you can. If you, I mean, we could say Albrecht went first. You got there first, and you realized that.
he got him, and like Albrecht just grabs the spider again, grabs the 2 front legs, flips it over, gets on it, and just pounds it into submission, and just green goo goes everywhere. And Mim has his hammer raised, about ready to rush in. And then he turns towards the leaper that has Gris and charges in on him.
Yourself a bonus die because Gris is fighting him as well.
It's reflexes.
Respectable. A spider, man.
Spiders.
Its feet are burnt.
Bites at you. Is that everybody who's not an Northern warrior?
Khronus hasn't gone.
Go, Khronus.
Khronus kind of, with his head, follows the Spider Queen as she jumps across the room, and then turns and looks to see this 8-leg, which is engaged with Ma'at, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you get a bonus die.
And he proceeds to attack. And you said 1 bonus, so I can just throw that in the luck.
Yep.
God damn it.
12.
Jesus. Oh, so close.
These things are resilient.
Resilient? Who rolls like this? Seminite turds.
Yeah, but you got 3, so that's a good reason. I should not be messing.
Spiders are tough. Alright, now we're in Orithicans. Oh man. Oh, the Jarl runs in with his axe swinging that he pulls off his back. You ready for this guy to show you up, Sim?
You know, might as well just have him come and do all the heavy lifting.
What? 1d6.
Yeah, he gets
a bonus.
Because 2 people surrounding. Spider. Oh man, tie goes to defender.
So close.
No good. This one sees Sylvie trying to fight Spider. Yeah, he just comes in, swings again. Leaper just all over the place. This one comes in to fight alongside Sylvie. Don't think that's gonna get it done.
He's got an extra die, right? Because we're getting.
He did. Yep.
Oh, okay.
He just rolled poorly. Ooh.
Oh.
Nearly.
How come it doesn't roll that bad for me?
Yeah, so as you're trying to push it around, he comes in and tries to attack her from behind, but she just catches him at the last moment, happens to step forward, perhaps in retaliation to you. Blast! Okay, spiders.
No, Mim.
Spider Queen. Oh, my doll. Okay. Going from top to bottom. Sylvie again.
Good thing she has reflex for days.
She's gonna spend a luck die. It's not on the attack itself. 16.
Rolling reflexes.
So you see on her hands, actually, you see her hands begin to well up with some sort of very green, almost caustic looking substance as she tries to ram them into your abdomen.
Yeah, Sylvie just kind of rolls out of the way. And then rolls, kind of like double rolls, evading the attack.
Eat leg. Khronus.
Sweet.
Ooh.
That's bad. If you don't beat that, there's a
Oh, God.
Woo! A near man that tries to jump at you and swing with its legs to beat you up.
Yeah, so Khronus just spins out of the way of him, and he just tries to, well, I guess he'll have to wait till his turn, but yeah, so yeah, he just evades it.
And Leaper. Oh, Mim.
Oh, man.
Oh, Mim, she bim.
Oh, child. Turns to swipe at you. Jeez. Getting all Sim's attack rolls out of the way, don't mind me.
Hopefully mine too. Take
Mim
my
ducks and moves out of the way and says, "Go back to that deeps, you fatal beast. Your 8 legs, I will make them 4. Next turn."
Alright, go ahead, it is next turn.
Oh, it's our turn again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get my whiff out the way.
You get 2 dice. 2
Why don't you let me go first, then I can pile on and you can get a bunch of dice.
Yeah, I'm still gonna lower.
Yeah,
So,
you hear that, Mott? You hear that, Mott? Team
yeah,
player over there.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Okay.
Oh.
You get extra. How many? You get 1 bonus for each person that's there besides you.
Up to 2. Yep.
Up to 2.
Yep. So you get
So he already has maxed. So go ahead, Gris. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Alright. So he does a backward swing. I gotta make up excuses for all his misses here. They're all like odd hits. No straight on heads because it'd be too easy. And this will be with 1 luck die.
1d6.
Yeah.
21. This would just
Aw.
be cruel. This would just be cruel, wouldn't it?
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be 22.
It's a hit.
Yeah, I can do something.
Show me the strength.
This is gonna be low now.
I don't think it's gonna have to be very high. Oh yeah. Tell me all about it.
So he does this little backswing thing and just connects perfectly, you know, not even looking. He's just so defeated in life. And this connects perfectly, and here's the crunching sound of the shell cracking. About time.
An 8-leg leaper's head goes flying across the room, perhaps landing near Sylvie or a Norscan warrior's foot. With a plop.
As Sylvie comes up out of her roll, she kind of rolls back just a smidge, and then as she comes up, she leaps and actually throws her spear at the Spider Queen's chest, right between the breasts.
I'll give you the bonus. Jesus.
Damn.
26.
That will hit. Show me the strength. Respectable. But I too am strong, child. So it the spear embeds itself right between the breast. You see the Spider Queen reel back, trying to yank it out with her hands. She does so and throws it back on the ground. Look of
Sylvie
murder in her
draws her sword.
Who's next?
Ma'at.
Yes.
Show me the three
Sorry.
people.
Ma'at is getting kind of fed up of not being able to hit this time. Again, kind of circles the 8-leg. She decides to swipe at it. Their claws. Oh, I didn't add the dice. Oh well. I'll do that.
Good. So it's at 14 right now. 15. I think your D6 was off a bit. That doesn't look right to me. Yeah, it didn't actually roll a dice, just rolled a 1.
Oh.
Yeah, so roll into another one.
Oh, that's much better.
That's a lot better. So that's 19. Got him.
Yes.
Strength.
Okay. Strength.
You rolled good, but you did hurt him.
Finally. So, Matt swipes at him this time instead of biting at him, and definitely nicks him pretty hard. She feels pretty successful and kind of lets out a growl at it. Come on, Khronus. We can finish this.
And Khronus, will you finish this? No, he said.
I would.
You're right there, Khronus.
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
We'll go to somebody else and come back to him.
Suffering from stage fright.
Go ahead. Mim, maybe? Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Khronus, no.
He's weather.
Did we lose the bowman as well? Oh, it's weather. Oh, no. No.
There's a storm.
Power outage.
Know about that.
One of the people must have shot his modem.
So we'll do the NPCs right now. So Norisican warriors are just gonna pile in to the grave threat. He's back. Oh, these guys are rolling pretty good. Whoa! Oh god. So one Norisican warrior comes in rather boldly and misses, the one who's been very antagonistic. The other one attempting to follow up. A hit. If you're talking, Khronus, we can't hear you, but we do see your back.
I wasn't
There
talking.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just letting you go. I just wrote in there.
I got you. So one of these Norisican warriors actually does hit the Spider Queen and kind of piling on around her, swinging wildly. He in fact clips one of her legs and severs it quite deep towards her rear leg, and she kind of scuttles along the ground a bit, not expecting that pain. Now Khronus.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm assuming Mott missed?
Mott hit.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Khronus will go ahead and teeth and claws. And he gets a +1. Jesus.
15.
So 15.
It's gonna be close.
Come on.
That's alright. Yeah, I'll just continue the streak.
So close.
Just barely missing here. And do we have a bow?
I wonder if his baby woke up.
Could be.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
he did say
He
his
said
baby's awake.
back in 5.
Back in 5? Okay. Don't really want to go for him, but we'll just sit he moves around the side here, get ready to posture up on his 8 leg.
We could take a bio too, if people
Yeah,
want
that's a good
to.
call. Yeah, everybody down for a quick 5?
That's good.
Yeah, that'd be
Line
fine.
for Matt.
Wait, what?
Maybe I can muster up some skill or something.
Alright. I'm gonna pause my recording and be right back. So unfortunately we're not gonna get to the whole adventure now, we'll get to this section, but we will
So-
end at a good point.
If I use my luck die and come back for the next session, do I get it back?
Yeah, we'll I'll be that way. We'll do that. We'll do
Alright.
that for everybody. Because
I
it's
was
tends to
trying
be
to
a new session.
Yeah, look, loopholes and all, you know?
Yeah.
Let's kill this 8-legged skank and get
It
on.
was Mim. Mim was the next.
Mim was next. Mim and his boy. Yeah, so Mim and Albrecht are going to go ahead and help Khronus out. They're the closest to them. And Khronus charges the spider and just takes a giant swing at the thing. His fist.
Who are you fisting?
I'm fisting 8 legs. Ah.
Remember, you get 2 additional die. Because they're surrounding it. So roll me 2d6.
Makes me wish I had 8 hands.
That's a lot better. 17. Why not? See what happens.
Spiders.
That will do it. Tell me all about it. Doing work this one.
I kill him.
Yeah, he had one left.
Oh, so Albrecht just says. He picks up the spider and pulls one leg off. Guts spout everywhere. Pouts another leg. And he has 2 legs in his hands, and he starts beating the thing with it. Just beats it to submission. That's my boy.
All right.
Yep. Mim will just kind kind of size up the situation. I won't have him act.
Okay. Spider Queen, I think everybody's going, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spider Queen. It's gonna spend a luck die to attack multiple opponents at once. He's gonna make one reflex, and Sylvi and the two Norisicans will have to make a reflex in turn and either meet or exceed her reflex.
Nice to know you, Norisicans.
Ooh.
The red shirts.
Oh, you get the +2 though, so that
Yep.
saves you. Oh, he does not. And his boy. Both take a drubbing. So you don't get hit, they both do. And not terrible. Not terribly bad. One up top only takes one. This guy's dead no matter what. So she pulls back one of her legs, razor sharp tips to these, been making holes in the floor, and swings across. One of the Norisicans is cut across the chest, deep cut in his armor that gets straight through. Blood begins to trickle out. The second one is a bit too far forward, and his head flies from his neck. His body doesn't realize it's dead for a moment, and then just sloops to the ground. And,
Sylvie, as the claw keeps coming, like drops to the floor, like drop, stop, and roll, right?
mhm.
Then springs back to her feet, and as she does, that's the only enemy, right?
Yep.
Double hands her sword that she now holds and attempts to like cleave off the creature's legs before her.
Do it.
21.
Damn.
Solid. That whiz.
Die, die, die.
Whoa.
Die.
And it dies.
Sever one leg. And Spider Queen steps back. Ah! Where are my children? Looking around at all the dead spiders.
Still alive.
She is.
Alright. Gris is gonna chuck his sword at her.
Nice.
Oh god, go for it.
And I'm gonna use a luck die.
Okay.
Mm.
That's all I need to do is throw my sword around.
Oh yeah, there it is. Roll your strength.
Yes. Do it.
Oh, he's one shy. I wish I could give it to you. He's one shy. Oh, so this sword goes flying in and actually embeds itself in the side of her neck. She's like trying to pull it out. Greenish black blood is spraying all over the place, covering this poor guy, and he's like, spitting it out.
Finish her.
Who is next in line?
I think it is me.
Ma'at.
So Ma'at will charge up and try to go all out against the Spider Queen. Just claws and teeth flashing everywhere.
Die for the round. Roll one. So 17. It's not bad.
Yeah.
No. She's kind of flailing around from the sword being in her neck, and she doesn't hit you hard, but she strikes you and manages to knock you off balance. Khronus.
Khronus, having seen the other Norsican beheaded, he lets a low growl and just charges in at the queen.
2 bonus die.
And they probably won't help, judging by the way I've been rolling.
Gris hit. Time to break your streak.
Here's one. Hang on a second.
You roll your 2 bonus.
It's 2d6.
Yep. 19.
19.
Not bad.
Oh, God.
Sword. That sword in her neck's got her flailing around. She's just knocking things over. And then,
So many tears.
Mim. You've been rolling alright. They think they're hard to hit.
Mim's gonna go forward and throw his lot in with the others and start to hack at one of the legs and try to slip underneath her and take the spike of his hammer and drive it up underneath her ventral area. And he'll use his luck dice.
Alright.
And do I get a bonus too?
You do, you get the 2 dice. 20?
20.
It's pretty good.
Oh!
Describe it. You've done it.
Yes.
So he slides under there. It takes his hammer, and it's flailing about. These other heroes are dodging out of the way. Mim takes this opportunity, like the diminutive figure he is, to run beneath the legs and take his spike of his hammer and thrust it up into the carapace. And as he does so, black and green ichor flows over him, and the spider goes, "What has happened to me?" and just collapses on top of him. And then all they can see is like a hammer outside, and you can hear a muffled voice.
Help him.
Albrecht walks over and starts to lift the giant beast off of his father.
That will help lift the Spider Queen off the poor child.
Goes to help because he wanted the sword back.
And Mim rolls out from underneath. Oh, what did I say? These treasures are well guarded, although these beasts are not from the Dorfir kind.
You did good job.
Yes, you did.
I take no glory from this deed. I only want what is ours. Ours. And he stands up and he has just this, I don't know, his green goop all over his body. He just flicks his arms down and just flies onto the ground.
Yeah, she's leaking. It's like a puddle, massive puddle starting to form under her own blood and ichor, and she's just standing there, sword in her neck, and Gris yanks it out.
I didn't think she was ever gonna die.
All things die. Gris Bjornsson. All things die. He looks over to Albrecht and looks very sad and starts to slowly walk over towards the bowl.
Matt will crouch down and start licking her wounds. To kind of whine a little bit.
Alright, Mim inspects the golden bowl, looking for any traps or hidden devices that may prove harmful. Mim looks around the bowl. He circumvents it, looks from the ground to the tip top of the bowl and around its circumference. He stands back and puts his thumbs behind the loops of his belt. I sense no traps. I see no traps. I think this is quite safe. But not to something else. This is a bowl of black spore, a chemical compound used to weaken the respiratory system of animalistic beings. Could come in handy for our journey. Although it is not quite what I sought. Here, I invite you to take this. He steps back. Well, aren't you going to come to take what you sought?
Sylvie, perhaps you should take it.
Perhaps I should. Or do you sense some trickery in me, Gris, son of Jorgen?
So he just looks at Gris. I should take it? Why?
I don't feel like carrying it around. I didn't come for the gold.
What gold? This could injure this serpent. Is that not why we've come?
Yeah, that would be what this is. It's a gold bowl, but inside is what Mim described.
Ma'at will pick up if need be.
No, Khronus will go ahead and pick it up.
Make an athletics check.
Ooh,
15.
Dirty dwarf.
+2.
Oh yeah, you take it. Now you feel initially when you pick it up, you perhaps catch a whiff of it. You've been smelling the stink for some time, but it's really powerful and foul. Perhaps a few spores even get up to your nostrils, and for a moment you feel intense pain in your chest, but you're able to bear it.
So Khronus walks over and picks it up with his wolf-like hands, I guess. And he just freezes for a moment and just... It's almost as if his breath has been taken away. And he starts to grunt a little bit. And he begins to turn his head away as he sees the spores making their way up to his nose.
Oh, it's potent stuff, yes, Khronus. Oh, but you're just the wolf enough to bear it, I think. This will come in handy.
And through gritted teeth, Khronus goes,
I hope it's worth all of the trouble.
Oh.
Are
No
you
trouble.
okay?
Very little trouble. This, and she kind of like waves to
I
the...
heard two.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Sylvie kind of walks forward and puts a hand on Gris's shoulder and pushes past slightly towards Khronus and looks at him and says, "You and Ma'at have proven yourself here today. I will fight by your side. If it comes to the serpent, we shall slay it together."
Khronus, you can see his muscles are... Almost every muscle on his body is flexed, and if he could have beads of sweat, he probably would have sweat rolling down his face and his brow.
I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse.
Well, there is only one way to find out, and that is to face it together.
Indeed.
Indeed, Wolfkin. Indeed. All of you here? I dare say this is the best time my son and I have had in ages. I dare say I think I should throw my lot in with your crew, if you would have me.
Would wish to know more about you, old one.
I
And when-
have tales to tell. I have tales to tell.
Certainly. And so he just kind of looks at Mim's son and then back to Gris. Kind of steps back.
Albrecht gives Gris a big pat on the back.
Yes, very good to have you.
Right.
I think I'm beginning to understand his speech.
I think so too.
Right. What transpires next is, of course, you are able to navigate your way back through. Whether you return, whether you have the Norisican who survived, return it, or you make sure you bring it back on your own is entirely up to you.
Takes the dead body.
I was going to say, is the other dead body claimed?
Oh.
Interesting question. Well, so the Norisican warrior here is doing some rites as far as the body's concerned.
Which one is the one that is dead? The
one you did
a-hole?
not like.
Yeah. So Sylvie would look over the body and she contemplates like giving him a right to help him pass over to the Hall of the Gods, but decides against it and does not, stepping over the body and heading into the tunnel.
It's in the gods' hands what they do with him now. Although he did die in battle.
Khronus will walk over to watch this, whatever it is, ritual that the other Norisican warrior is performing. Is he like putting coins over the? Well, I guess the head was severed.
He collects the head and kind of puts it. It's a very grim task. He doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He goes over and collects the head and sort of sets it on where it will lie as best his ability, and begins going over some rites as far as he pulls out some sort of symbol. It's like a totemic type symbol and starts to use just motion around particular motions. Oh, great Father Magnus, please hear my call. Let my cousin Fjormir find your halls. Let not his soul be lost to Fel, like so many are lost. He's going through several things. He's saying prayers to several gods. And now, we let warriors lie where they die, and those who live go on with such lives. He stands there for a moment, looks at him. I'll see you in the next life, cousin. Go well into death. Takes his cousin's axe and puts it on his back and begins to leave.
So Khronus is being tasked with carrying this thing out, then?
Oh yeah, it's like anybody else wants to carry it. So
No, that's fine. But he suffers that feeling the entire time.
You resisted it once. You're able to bear it.
Right. I was just
or anything on the way out to inhale the whole thing. So I'm not gonna kill you.
Okay. No, it's fine. I was just curious.
I got you. So you're able to take it back, or have the Norisican take it back, however you want to handle it. Do some Minds of Blacksport. Turn it, and that is done. We'll bring you to the next scene, and then probably call it. So I'll go through one little thing as a build-up for next time. You can bring your son out, Bo, because I know I keep forgetting.
Second-class citizen.
Mm-hmm. It's a construct, bro.
I don't like to be in the tree.
The Brightwood. This place is home to the Alfs, a lithe and exotic people that rarely come into contact with Narissicans. They're xenophobic and territorial to those who enter. But this place holds the world tree and its mighty bark. As you enter the wood, all around you, you hear shifting of branches and trees. You swear you hear whispers. At one point, in the opening to the wood, you see a single, live, beautiful being. And that is where we will stop.